YouTube, Dawson Ryder here. Welcome to my review for Mighty Morphin issue 19. I think it's 19. It's 19, right? Maybe? It'll be right in the title. This is probably my favorite issue of this arc so far. It had a lot of really nice moments. As per usual, we have the story split between two stories. The Rangers looking for a new command center from an Eltar base, and then Rocky and Matt on Earth. That sounds like a weird morning show segment. Good morning and welcome to Rocky and Matt on Earth. For the Rangers storyline looking for the command center, the thing I found most amusing about this is it felt honestly almost like a classic Star Trek episode. Because if you don't remember, they're going to the Lion Galaxy, which was a galaxy and system and planet or whatever that was introduced in Ninja Steel, which I mentioned last week is a really nice little lore connection that I just really liked. And we get to even see the leader in the lion armor, similar to when we met the leader in the lion armor in Ninja Steel, which led to the lion armor power-up. Really nice connection. But they're effectively planning like how to infiltrate the planet so they don't ruin the Prime Directive. You know how it is. And we get to see them in disguise, and Tommy talks with the Lion Galaxy guy, leader, about Eltarians a little bit, and they're scoping the place out. And then you have Alpha joining in too, in disguise. Like he shows up like in one of the very end scenes of this where he's disguised as like a hairdresser or something. And it was just really amusing, and it wasn't like the most impactful or in-depth plot, but I found it to be really enjoyable. And again, just the whole planning and then infiltration reminded me of a classic Star Trek episode. And I really like the lore connection from Ninja Steel. Kind of reminds me of them making use of SPD in space during the Power Rangers story with Astronema and whatnot. I just love them connecting and making use of all this different lore from different series, not just mmpr. The primary, I would say, most important stuff is happening back on Earth with Rocky and Matt on Earth. And you have the Machine Empire guy attacking. We get a nice little detail from him where he's like, the Salamancas think they're gonna join this cartel, it's gonna be me. No, but what he really says is like, oh, Mondo thinks he's gonna be the one joining Dark Spectre, but I'm going to prove myself by doing this. And so that's like a nice little detail because I guess we know from the show universe he is a rival of King Mondo's, but that's a nice little connective tissue to the Machine Empire as well as Dark Spectre. And Matt is the one to go out to fight him while Rocky, at least at first, stays behind to protect his family and protect his identity because of the Ranger Code. And there's, I would say, 3 really nice moments in this storyline that made the issue stand out. One of them just overall has to do with Zordon's change in attitude, which I think is a nice continuation of his arc from the Eltarian War. You know, as we know, Zordon was a bit of a douchebag in the first part of that arc, but the end of the Eltarian arc was all about him learning from his mistakes and changing, something the Jedi, like Yoda, really could have stood to do. And I really like that we're continuing that. I think there's a really good through line from that arc to this one that feels like a nice character continuation, which is making me like Zordon a lot more, showing that his methods and way of thinking has changed. And I think that's really highlighted when Matt's about to go out and fight, and he gives Matt his approval. He says, for what it's worth, you have my approval. You know, the thing that you and Tommy have in common is neither of you were chosen by me, but you both wound up being great Rangers. I thought it was a nice little moment for Matt, who doesn't get very much, but also a nice moment for Zordon. Also later, before Rocky decides to actually go out and fight, Rocky's like, well, but what about like people not knowing my identity and like, and Zordon's like, you know, I need to rethink my rules. I'm like, I agree, because a lot of the stuff about the Rangers rules from Zordon is stupid. Don't escalate a battle I thought was always stupid. Regardless, it's really nice to have that scene and Zordon sort of rethinking his rules and watch that evolution, which I think was a core good part about that. And then another good scene I think was at the end when Rocky decides to go out and help, because Matt is obviously having a lot of trouble fighting this guy. Like they even like power up his dagger with this blast thing and he's still struggling, so Rocky has to go out there and help. And Rocky like bids farewell to his family. Not like forever, but he's like, I gotta go for a while, guys, but just know I'll always protect you. And it was a nice little moment, and as I've mentioned, it's nice to see some focus on Rocky. I really hope on the other side of things we might get a little more for Adam and Aisha. Sorry to sound like a broken record about that, but I've talked about in the past how I feel those 3 really fell by the wayside. So Rocky getting attention now is really welcomed in this arc. But it was just a really nice scene, a really nice moment, and then he, you know, exits the shield heroically to go fight, which was really nice. I mean, on paper, it doesn't sound like a lot happened in this issue, but I think it was the most solid because it had some really nice character stuff for Zordon, for Rocky, maybe a little bit of a nice character moment for Matt, a fun little Star Trek-esque story, and a little bit of building of this story of this Machine Empire rival and little details there. So not the most groundbreaking issue, but I thought it was the most solid character-driven issue, and I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. But what did you guys think of this issue? Let me know in the comments as always. Until next time, reply, comment, subscribe, and climb the steps, ring that bell so you get notifications for my videos. Dawson Ryder, signing out.